Yo, what's going on, everybody? Collision Works here. Welcome back to another spread offensive breakdown. Now, today, gentlemen, we are going to be covering the doubles Y-Flex offset and a little bit of the spread flex. Now, for the start of this video, I had to do a voiceover because I think I kind of had my mic out of position when I was initially recording it. So we will be back here in a couple minutes with the normal live commentary. But for the first few moments, you guys are going to be rocking with me and a post commentary. So as you guys are seeing right now, I'm kind of just looking over this playbook as in trying to mention how many 2x2 sets this playbook has. I think some are a little stronger with the run game and RPO attack. Now, primarily in this video, it's going to be discussing doubles Y-Flex offset and a little bit of the spread flex, just like one or two plays. Now, to begin, we're going to be covering cover 3 and cover 4. Now, pretty much for a cover 3 drop and a cover 4 drop, these plays are basically going to be, you can run them both for either one is what I'm trying to say. Pretty much everything but the bomb plays. So right now I'm just going over the coaching adjustments. It's just auto baseline with, basic what you see all the time zone drop, so 25 and 5, and then we'll talk about later in the video how to pick up the A gap out of the free safety zone blitz. But for this coverage stuff, we're just going to be going up against a cover 3 sky, or cover 3 spy, just a little base cover 3 defense. Now for the start, we're going to be running Z spot here with our running back facing the far side of the field, so you're going to want your two receivers on the short side. Now for the Z spot setup, you're going to motion in your B receiver and then leave him on the slant. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put Y here on a fade. We're going to then put our tight end on a post. We are going to put our X receiver on a fade or a streak. I think fades are better at pulling zones, but I put them on a streak here. And finally, you're going to put your running back on a end breaking route. Now, you can put your running back on an out or an end. I like him going with the tight end. As you guys see here, we have these double streaks that are pulling the outside thirds upfield. And then we have a slant post combination, which is going to be great at countering a user who's just chilling in the middle of the field, right? So basically, as you guys see the effectiveness at how the tight end gets open, the slant's going to get open and pretty much the same exact depth, but on the other side of the field. And I could be wrong, but as I've been running this play, I haven't had any type of problem with the slant stopping in the middle of the field. I'm not sure if it's because it is like a actual play design slant. It's not like we're doing a hot route slant. I could be wrong. I've only called this play, probably like a dozen times. So I really haven't had so much, or too many snaps to really notice it, but I haven't had any type of in the middle of the field, stopping of those slant routes. So now, gentlemen, we're going to be breaking down angle smash. I know you guys see that thumbnail that just flashed. Basically, I wanted to reference the countering deep out KO meta video we did, because this corner route in angle smash does such a great job getting underneath a pressed cover 3 or pressed cover 4. As you see right now, I audible to a slot apprentice corner route, and you guys see these routes are great, but against the deep out KO, they run too far upfield, and with the reaction time buff that they get when the ball is getting delivered, it just runs too far into the zone. So as you guys see here with this stock angle smash corner, he kind of runs more like an out route, and you guys see it just does a phenomenal job. Typically, for the most part, it gets to a depth where deep out KO isn't even going to flash on. So it really is something I like to mix in. Angle smash alone isn't really like a solidified play for me. It's more of a freestyle play based on what my opponent's doing. I primarily run it for the corner route, but you guys are going to see here, you could motion over your tight end, create a little trip set, or you can bring him back. Sometimes what I like to do here is I like to put my running back on a wheel, put X on an out route, and then I can kind of put my tight end on anything to keep the user in the middle of the field, whether it's a crosser or a post or anything like that. So if X is open at the start, depending on their zone drops, I can go ahead and hit my out route, or if it's getting covered, I can go ahead and hit my running back. And I'll go ahead and set this up again for you guys before we go back to a live com. But like I said, if your running back and your out route's covered, you still have your corner. And then depending on if the user plays the tight end, you might have your running back down the middle. So it's kind of a freestyle play for me. So anyway, gentlemen, we're going to get back to the live com. Hope you boys enjoy. Peace. And then guys, before we get to our deep attacking bomb plays, I just feel like I should mention 4 verticals. You can obviously run this on any side of the field. It doesn't matter really where your running back is. It's just for the sake of knowing 4 verticals is still going to do great. I personally like to take away the option around and just do a streak. But just know, if you guys have a set feet leap quarterback, you guys are going to be able to take advantage of this a lot easier if you didn't, or than if you didn't. But you guys know, if you just wait for these streaks to develop, you aren't going to have any problem getting open down the seam. So just something worth mentioning. Let's go ahead here and talk about the bomb plays. All right, guys. Now, when it comes to bombing cover 3, this part and the timestamp may take a moment. This is going to be extremely important to know, so please stick around for this. What we are going to be breaking down is having zone drops on and your zone coverage with match compared to default. Now, I've talked about on the channel and on the Discord for a long time that I've always thought that having your match coverage turned on will prevent various different cover 3 bombs. Okay, so what I want to show you guys right now is cover 3 with zone coverage set to default, and I'm going to show you guys our fork wheel bomb with zone coverage set to default and set to match. Now, we need to remember, if we have match on and we have zone drops on, zone drops will turn off match for that play unless you reset your play. Okay, so guys, we're going to be showing you guys how bombs work with default zone coverage. So as you guys see here, I'm going to go ahead and select the cover 3 we've been playing, which is the cover 3 buzz, and then we are going to select fork wheel. Now, for this setup, guys, if I motion in Calvin and leave him on this post, and I streak my tight end and put B on a comeback, this looks like your traditional cover 3 beater. You're going to have your streak that keeps the middle third in the middle, and then you're going to have your B receiver on the comeback that's going to help get the outside third underneath. Now, if we go back to the huddle, right, and we select our zone coverage type to match, and we still have our zone drops on to turn off the match, you guys are going to see here that having this will stop the bomb from occurring. Now, I know this isn't a defensive video, but this is going to be important knowing what bomb to run. So now all I did was change my coverage to match. I can come out in the same exact play. I'll snap the ball here. Hopefully I don't get shedded. And you guys are going to see the outside third on the right is now playing deep. Now, of course, the comeback route is going to be open. Now, guys, where this is going to take a very big effect is when you are going up against the free safety zone blitz. Now, for this tip, I got this from Madden. This needs to be known just so you guys know where I pulled it from. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's say you come out in the setup that we just did, and you guys see that that corner backed off. We now know he's running zone drops and match because that would have been a bomb if he was set to default. When you are going up against somebody using the free safety zone blitz, you guys are going to see if we have that match on with the defense, they just come out here in the setup like you would traditionally see like this. Once we pick up this blitz by sliding to the right and double teaming the D tackle, all we need to do is streak X and flat Y. What you guys are going to see here is once we snap this ball, watch the left side third. He's going to come back down to the flat, and then we have a bomb open right over the top. This is only going to work if they have their match and zone drop on, okay? Now listen, if the defense knows better, they know that they can counter this by setting up their defense like they always do and shade over the top, okay? If they shade over the top, nothing is going to come back down because I didn't set up the right play. But just know, if they shade over the top, I'll show it to you guys one more time. But you guys can probably sneak in a bomb or two, depending on your opponent's, you know, skill. It just is what it is. But you guys see here, setting this up one more time. Okay. And you guys see, I set this up one more time with the streak and the flat. I play over the top. Go ahead and set up my protection. You guys see, nobody's coming back down. All right, guys, now going up against quarters, because pretty much every single play that we broke down against cover 3 will work against a cover 4 drop besides the deep bomb plays. So just know we're not going to be covering cover 4 drop. You guys can pretty much try and use everything that we already broke down for cover 3 besides the deep bomb plays. So against cover 4 quarters, let me go ahead and come back out here in the double flex. For this breakdown, guys, we're going to start with PA read with the running back on the far side. I'm going to go ahead and run cover 4 quarters at a dime. And you guys are going to see here, to begin, all we're going to be doing here is motioning in our number 1 on the short side. We're going to put him on a out and up. We're going to cross our Y. Play out look like this. Then we're going to be putting A here, our tight end, on a corner and dragging B. Basically, what we're going to be looking for here is Julio Jones on the crosser down the middle. And if the user decides to play upfield and cover him, we're going to have our B on the drag underneath. Just like that, you guys see how the matching works. We're going to have a really good shot at getting really solid yardage, and then potentially whoever you have here, you're going to have a shot at honestly scoring a touchdown. Go ahead and show this to you guys again here. Here's your play art, out and up, crosser, corner, drag. Go ahead and cancel the play action. Let me go ahead and get off the flat as well so you guys can see how he plays. But you guys see here the crosser just does a really good job once everyone starts matching, just to really get a wide open lane to go to the end zone. Let me go ahead and hop on the D line here and show this to you guys one more time. Here's your play art. Here's your play art. The Y open again, but just in case, you guys can go ahead and dump off here to your drag as well. And then guys, another setup I like to do, this can honestly probably be ran out of any play, but I'm going to go ahead and put my running back here to the short side. And then what we're going to be doing on this setup is we're going to go ahead and put our running back here on a N route. And then we're going to go ahead and motion over our Y receiver. Once we do that, we're going to put him on a crosser. We're going to fade our tight end and put B on a C route. Your player is going to look like this. Now, typically what I like to do, I know this is a lot, but I like to streak my X receiver as well. So your play art looks like this, okay? Once we snap this ball, you guys see we're going to be able to hit B here on his C route with just pass lead. You don't really need to freeform this, which is honestly really, really nice. You don't have to worry about the ball going out of bounds. But show you guys this setup one more time. Hopefully we have more than a second to break it down. But you guys see here. So go ahead and hit your C route here underneath the outside quarter. And then what's nice about this play is we will also have our crosser here on the back end of the play. If we have time, that will get open as well on the far side of the field. We also have our running back here that we can easily hit right there, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw the crosser, which we poor accuracy miss it. But you guys see here, I don't want to keep, beating a dead horse. But the running back, I mean, honestly, against quarters, he's wide open, especially if you have Henry. You're going to be able to dominate whoever's here. And then on this back end, you guys are going to have your crosser as well. My first read is typically the C route here. I'm looking C route, seeing how this guy plays. If it looks any covered, I'm going to look down to the running back, and then I'm going to go ahead and look through the crosser and try and find where the user's playing. So just keep this in mind. It's something I like to mix in as well. All right, guys, welcome to the cover 2 and cover 2 mabel portion of this breakdown. Now guys, we're kind of going to be dabbling in spread flex for the first time. Play we're going to be selecting against cover 2 mabel is going to be Z shallow cross. So once we select this play, you guys are going to see we're going to be motioning over this deep post to the far side of the field. You're going to want your running back facing the far side of the field. Forgot to mention that. So basically, as I set up my my cover 2 mabel, backing off, these are 30-yard zone drops and 5 purples. But we're going to be bringing over Calvin Johnson to the far side of the field, and we're going to be turning this post basically into a corner route just by motioning him over. Now, after you've motioned over your number 1 on the short side, you're going to go ahead and streak A, your tight end. You can leave B on the drag or put him on a N route, and then you are going to put your Y receiver on a post. Now, your running back, you can kind of do anything you want with them. That's up to you, and depending on what the down and distance or if your opponent's blitzing or not, you can block him if you want, completely up to you. For this video, I just put him in a table route. Now, basically, what we're going to be looking at here is we know we have kind of a high-low in the middle of the field because the user is going to be stressed playing that mabel in the center in between the hashes. So basically, we can hit our drag pretty quick underneath or our post. And then as you guys see here, deep later in the play, we're going to have our corner right there. I threw a terrible pass lead, but you guys are going to see if you have set feet lead, you guys are going to have a lot of success getting open as long as you guys are running this corner route to the far side of the field. It's going to be really, really good play against mabel. Like I was mentioning earlier, we kind of mentioned this in the bunch empty open guide as well. Drags, it can be really, really good against mabel if you throw it kind of right after the purple kind of starts moving to the sideline right there. When I was doing a live comm, I want to go ahead and run that back and show you guys the corner out. But as I was mentioning before, drags can be really, really effective against mabel, especially because they just target underneath the user. Like I was saying earlier, having this post will kind of keep the user in position up the middle, which is just going to leave your drag or your in route just wide open underneath. I believe this part of the video, I go ahead and dump it off to B here. So just expect that pass coming here after the snap. The only thing about throwing in the middle of the field against mabel is everyone swarms you after you've made the catch. So you really need to, I've kind of always recommended just holding RB and just playing it safe. You really need to be careful making a move here because how the defense reacts all going to the middle where you're located. If you get stripped, there's no way you're going to get the ball back. So just be careful. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, even though you are getting good yards. So that is going to be it for the Z shallow cross. All right, guys. Now for this next setup, we're going to be running PA read here in the doubles Y-Flex. Again, this is going to be targeting mabel coverage. Really, all we're going to be doing here is just designing a very deep down the middle and or I'm sorry, we're just creating a high-low where we're just attacking deep down the middle and having a little safety dump-off play with our tight end. So we're just going to motion over X. You're going to want to have your running back on the far side of the field. You're going to streak your Y receiver, and then again, just put your tight end on a hitch. So once I show the play out here, you guys are going to see it's basically just kind of a really deep crosser down the middle. And if the user takes the deep post or the deep crosser, you can hit your tight end. If you, for some reason, takes the tight end, you hit the deep crosser. So, you know, just a little something I like to mix in as well, where you are not, you know, motioning the receiver all the way over. Kind of gives the defense a new look. Like to mix this in just a couple times. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't want to ramble on. I'll go ahead and show you guys this real quick. Just dumping off to the tight end. And you guys see just a simple little play where we just have a very deep high and a very low low. All right, guys. And then finally, just verticals. I mean, verticals does a great job attacking the seams. Verticals against this, it's just wide open every time. I don't want to, you know, go over this too much just because against a mabel, no one is protecting the seams. Mabel is designed to sacrifice the seams in hopes that you completely cover the sideline. So just know you can throw this in as well. This is a great play. I typically like to have my running back left over on the little check down underneath. That's how I like to mix it in. But yeah, verticals is straight cash, homie. All right, guys, now going up against just stock cover two, I would recommend fork wheel. Now, honestly, going up against cover two is a beautiful thing. This is a voiceover, so I will kind of talk about the play real quick, then I'll mention, you know, just some philosophy. I've talked about double streaks here kind of since the Pats guide at the start of the season against a stock cover two. I think it works very, very good where you basically just read inside, outside, what's open, let's hit it. But against cover two, guys, really, I would just recommend putting high-lows all over the field, man, because if no one is adjusting and they're just running cloud flats or hard flats, you can run a corner route with a streak and then have a little out route on that corner side so you have a high-low. I love to have setups where I'm going deep down the middle. So you guys see here, I have a streak and then I leave my wheel out of the fork wheel. And then you guys see I'm able to go ahead and just hit my wheel over top because I have an out route going to the sideline. So it's just a simple high-low there on the left side of the field. Julio was running really funny, so I left that in the video. But yeah, it's really just adding high-lows everywhere. And then, you know, basically what I love to do against cover two is I bully the cover two until they run cover two mabel. And then we bully the cover two mabel. So right here, I have a streak, a corner, and a drag. I go ahead and snap the ball here. I can hit my tight end, and then I can go ahead and hit my corner once they bite down. So right there, I know I missed my read, but basically, guys, high-lows, keep it simple, and attack the deep middle. Don't ever lose that philosophy as well against mabel. If it's cover two mabel or just cover two, deep middle can be exposed very easily. Right here, you guys see how we have a high-low there. This is what I love to mix in. This is great. This little wheel here out of fork wheel is also great against mabel as well. I forgot to mention that. And if you don't have like a deep corner, if you're in any formation, these wheels can do a really good job as well. So against cover two, high-lows, boys. Force them to play mabel and then beat the mabel. All right, fellas. Now we're going to be breaking down cover two man. Let's get right into it. We're going to go ahead and start here with fork wheel. This is going to be with your running back on the short side of the field. So let's go ahead and get on here. Let me go ahead and just motion the ball over or slide it over, and we'll go ahead and begin. So guys, for this setup here against cover two man out of fork wheel, we're going to go ahead and start here with motioning in our far side receiver number one, Calvin, and then we're going to go ahead and put our Y receiver here on a deep post. Now what's nice about this is we will actually be able to get what's nice about motioning in your number one receiver with your running back on the short side in this formation is your Y receiver now becomes an outside apprentice receiver. So we can put him on a deep post and we can smart route it. It's going to help us out a lot here. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to streak short side number one. It's going to be our B receiver. And then our tight end here, you can kind of put him on anything. I'm going to go ahead and put X here on a corner. I didn't have that in my notes, but that's what it's supposed to be. So just keep that in mind. Sorry about that, fella. But we can go ahead and leave our tight end here on the corner. We can put him in a, let me go ahead and man align here, or unbase align. We can go ahead and put him on a post. You can put him on a drag. You can honestly put him on a zig. You can honestly just put him on anything. But you guys are going to see here, what's nice is we're going to have just a scissor concept where You're not necessarily going to see it every single time, but I think the deep post here that we get out of Julio Jones, I think it does help keep the safety in towards the middle of the field, and just gives us more leverage when we break to the outside. I'm gonna go ahead and set this stuff up again. Like that. Like I said, your tight end, you can kind of put them on anything here. You know, it just depends on the shading. Obviously, stock cover 2 comes with an inside shade, but I know a lot of people like this shade underneath and then shade out. So this is kind of going to change up depending on who you're playing or what their strategy is. But you guys see right here, it's either going to be your X receiver getting open, depending on how they shade, or your deep post with Y getting open down the middle. So just keep this in mind. If you know that they're going to be shading outside, as I don't know what I just did, but if you guys know that they're going to be shading underneath and outside, I would definitely look towards the deep post by Y, and you know, make that kind of one of your more primary reads. You guys can do a combination like this as well. It's kind of, you know, with man coverage, you just need to remember all of your man coverage principles of how to beat it, you know, which is like your motion snaps, your zigs, your wheels, things like that. And just recognizing, you know, what position are their players. Like right now in front of Julio Jones, we have an outside shade. So, you know, they're on underneath an outside shade. We just kind of need to look at those cues that the defense is bringing just so we know what to run. Right there, Y gets wide open. Center got absolutely dominated. But you guys understand, we're kind of just looking towards the outside here on the far side, and then deep down the middle with fork wheel. All right, guys, now for PA read, this is going to be with the running back on the far side of the field. Now, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be motioning over our short side receiver. We're going to leave him on this stock crosser. We're going to go ahead and streak our tight end and put our B receiver on a slant. So this is going to be your play art here. Basically, what we're trying to do is get this outside leverage with Julio Jones and go ahead and do a high ball freeform upfield. So right here, go ahead and show you guys just like that. As you guys see, we had a really good bit of separation there. Sometimes this slant is going to help rub the DB and get you some separation. But even if you don't get it, it's not required, because what's nice is we don't have to worry about a knockout ability typically. And I mean, the separation is just, it's always going to be there. Really, really good route, something I like to mix in. This is something I've been experimenting more recently though, so I haven't, you know, used it against the best man coverage players, but just keep this in mind as well. Like right there, it was pretty tight coverage at first, maybe could have gotten picked, but there's just so many times where he gets bumped by the DB, and even if he doesn't, that's why I'm like spamming this play call. I want you guys to see how we're able to freeform it upfield and really force the separation, you know, even though we just got bumped by our own teammate. So just something I like to mix in. And then of course, if for some reason it does get covered, you guys got a slant on the back end, and then you know, I mean, gosh, if it does get covered, I guess this play is kind of just designed for that crosser. But listen, you guys, another cover 2 man beater is going to be Y corner out of the spread flex. Now this is going to be with your running back on the far side of the field. All right, guys, now our next play is going to be Y corner here out of the spread flex. So this is going to be the other formation that we have neighboring the doubles Y flex. All we're going to be doing for this play, guys, is we're going to go ahead and motion over our B receiver in, and then we're going to go ahead and put our Y receiver on a streak. This is basically going to be your play call. Your running back, you can really put him on anything you want. You can put him on an in route, not a wheel, don't put him on a wheel, I'm sorry, an in route or an out route, anything like that. So this is going to be your play art. We're going to go ahead and snap this here against cover 2. You guys see, we're going to have our post open down the middle. That streak is going to do a good job keeping the deep half over the top. Now, if they were to play off and then shade underneath and out, just know, let me go back off some of these guys. You guys will still have other options here as well. So put my running back here on an out route. This is with the shade underneath and out. I mean, that post is just literally deep frying right now. I mean, it's so hard not to hit it when it's that open, but I do need to show you guys other stuff. So going into the instant replay, you guys see here, once we snap, the slant does a really good job getting open if they're shading out and underneath, or underneath and out rather, and then your post open as well. And then, of course, depending on their shade, you can always just dump it off to your running back, try and make a move. If they were in the stock inside shade, your tight end would get open. Obviously, he's bagged because they're shading underneath and to the sideline, so he's kind of going to be hard to hit given that shade. You just got to keep in mind that with cover 2 man, a lot of it is just going to be based on looking at the positioning of the defense and seeing where they're shading, how they're shading, and really working around that with your motion quick snap plays like your zigs or your slants or anything like that. So just keep that in mind, guys. Cover 2 man, I know it can kind of be annoying to go against, but you're just going to have to look at how the defense is positioned in the secondary to know how to go about it. One thing I would like to notice as well, or mention, if you guys do want to put your tight end on the line of scrimmage, if you guys are struggling against the press, just know, as I'm not in the right formation, but inside of the gun doubles, you can motion over your tight end and he will go on the line of scrimmage. What's nice about that is he cannot get pressed unless the user manually presses him in this look. So he might still get bagged on this play, but just know he can't get jammed when you guys run things like this. So just keep this in mind. This can potentially save you on a big down. All right, guys, now going up against cover 0. Play we're going to be running here is going to be weak flood. We're going to want our running back to the short side of the field. We're going to go ahead and select spinner here out of the 3-2. If you watching this video run this play on defense, I pray for you. You're a very terrible person. Now, running back on the short side, guys, all we're going to be doing here is we're going to leave the tight end on the drag. Tight end on the drag, running back on attack. This can be a very, very good combination. Typically, you'll see this a lot in trips tight end. A little better when the tight end is on the line, but still definitely worth mentioning. And worth running. It's still very, very good. Now, sometimes what I like to do is I like to motion in this post. This kind of just depends on what your opponent's doing. Recently, I have been leaving this out route on the field. So you see right here, I can go and dump it off to my running back. I know, obviously, right there, a user's going to be playing there. So I'm going to go ahead and actually just leave Roquan Smith here. Hopefully, he just stands still and doesn't go anywhere. But right here, guys, I mean, just this base play alone, just putting his Texas can be really, really good. He did blitz. Let me try and put him into a hook curl. So I'll go put him into a hook curl. Actually, I'll just man him up to the running back. Now I'll put him in a hook curl. So I'll put him in a hook curl there. And you guys will see here, this out route can be really good as well on the outside. I know right now we're not playing against any type of shaded coverage. The one thing that I just really dislike about like breaking down man-beating plays is that they can typically always change depending on what your opponent runs. If it's a cover 2 and how he's shading, is it a 0 and is he mixing in, you know, is one half of the field a cover 2 and then the other half is manned off? Like, what's going on here? Like, sometimes man coverage can be a little hard to break down because not every opponent is going to be running it the same way as you would expect. So, you know, the best thing that I like to do is just kind of teach you guys more so philosophies like this drag and Texas combination, or even one we were talking about earlier where you can put your tight end on the line of scrimmage. If you're playing against someone who's running like a pressed man coverage, like we've mentioned before, you can't press the tight end unless you are using him on the line of scrimmage. So that can help you with a lot, as well as just simple motion snapping. I will kind of show you guys one I do like to run sometimes. If I have my post on the far side of the field, sometimes I'll just go ahead streak B as well, and then motion my Y on a zig, and I'll bring him to the short side like this. And then once he crosses the tight end, we'll just go ahead snap. And then I have a little something underneath as well. And then, you know, depending on how the play goes out, sometimes you can get a little block there by your outside receiver who's on the streak. And that can help out as well. This is just kind of nice because what this does is it's pretty much, if they don't have a hard flat over here, it's going to put a lot of stress on their user to where if they even go outside to the right, we can just throw it to the inside on our tight end and get that easy inside position. So just little things like that. Like I said, if they are, you know, mixing in, you know, a hard flat or something like this, you may see combinations like this and they'll put a lot of the stress on their own user. That's why, you know, sometimes it is good to even do, you know, if you were in like a 3x1 set, I've noticed a lot of times when I'm running the U-trips out of the spread, when I'm in the, when I'm in that 3x1, a lot of guys will kind of like press this lone side receiver and just leave him on a outside third. What's really good about this, and you guys will probably notice this now that you've heard about it, I love to keep this guy just on a little simple smoke screen. So if this is a combination you guys are going up against, you know, you guys can still do this combination, and then you're just going to go ahead, snap, throw the screen, and then if you can make a move, you also have your tight end on the drag to help you out as well. So I actually want to try and show that one more time, just so you guys can see what I'm like referring to. But if you guys have something like this, you kind of want to hold it so they get the max distance, as I did not set my player on a smoke screen. That's really lame. just know if you kind of just wait and kind of throw this like a real delayed screen, you guys can kind of make a move. I mean, Calvin Johnson's playing the best defense right now in the world, but sometimes just putting a simple smoke screen against those deep zones on the one-on-one players can be really, really good. One other thing I would like to mention, not forgetting your wheel as well with the running back, and also knowing like when you should block more or when you should kind of go all out. Typically against all-out blitzes, I really do like to send out everyone. I do that as much as I can, just because, you know, if we, for example, let's say we block our running back, slide to the left and ID right, that's going to send the man coverage defender on the running back. This play doesn't have one. Typically what that's going to do is that's going to drop them back into their deep zone coverages. So, for example, if I were to put Julio Jones here on a motion snap block, you're going to see here his man defender, Jesse Bates, once I motion him back, or I can even do it right there. You see Julius Peppers, he kind of falls back into an outside third, and you just need to be careful of who you're blocking. And if you do know who you're blocking, you just need to know who is assigned to him and what type of zone they're going to fall back in. So things like that. Like if I motion over Julio to the right side of the field and I snap it, we know now that Peppers is going to go into an outside third. But if I bring him back over, Jesse Bates is going to get assigned to him, and I snap this ball, he's going to go into a middle third, and we're going to lose our deep post. So, you know, depending on what you're writing up, that can be beneficial for you because, you know, you can completely build up a play that doesn't even attack the middle third, and you can completely avoid it and get more protection. But you just need to be aware of who's falling into what coverages. So just keep that in mind when you're coming to the point where you're thinking about blocking defenders or motion snap blocking receivers and things like that. Sometimes it's just a little better to send out everybody rather than trying to block the blitz. So just keep that in mind. But gentlemen, for this this man coverage breakdown, I think I'm probably just going to add another cover one beater. I feel like kind of going around that will help you guys, since we've broken down the cover 2 man and the C1 man. That will kind of help you understand your cover 0 and kind of knowing what type of different shades you know, play for each coverage. So let's go ahead and move on to cover 1. All right, fellas, now breaking down cover 1, typically, guys, I'm going to try to select any type of play call that has some type of base crosser in the play. So Y cross here is what we have in the spread flex formation, and we are going to be calling cover 1 robber press. Now, basically, due to cover 1's intrinsic nature of having an outside shade to basically complement the 2 middle zones, what I like to do is have 2 underneath drags, basically just a mesh concept. You guys will see this is kind of a trend here with man coverage, really just because the rack animations this year are so good. And since there are no deep zones playing over the top on the outside, I always like to try to keep in a running back wheel as well. See, we're going to have really good success here with our drags, as you guys see right there. A little easy 5 yards to just a little simple dump off. Now, what's nice about this as well is, like we were talking about, we have our running back wheel. So like I said, if they're not putting a deep half or anything out there on that side, we can always just simply load up and go over the top with our running back. Really doesn't matter who's guarding them. It's just one of the routes that just beat man this year. So again, I want to show you guys the crosser as well. You guys see right here, if they have a deep out or deep NKO, just simply freeform it down lower. You're going to find a lot of success there. So, you know, as you guys kind of see, this is kind of what we're going to want to go for when we're going up against an outside shade. So I really like mesh, and I love crossers as well as, I mean, who knew cover 1 had the best A-gap blitz in the game? So, you know, not going to drag this on too much. Just kind of wanted you guys to understand what I'm looking for against cover 1. I know Calvin's beating his guy every time. I don't want to just throw it over the top to him, because typically they're going to try and put that guy in the outside zone so he doesn't get beat over the top. But just know, you guys can mix this in. I know I'm, you know, rambling and kind of showing this over and over again, but this can be a really good setup against cover 1. All right, boys, and then finally, before we wrap up the video, we're going to cover slot flags versus cover 1. All we're going to do for this setup, guys, is have the running back on the short side of the field. You're going to motion over your tight end to the far side. You're going to drag both outside receivers. So your play is going to look like this. And then finally, you're going to wheel your running back. Snap the ball here. As you guys see, we have potential to get outside on this corner route. And then you kind of get the same effect, but you have to watch out for the opponent's user with your post by the tight end. So again, just motion over your tight end, double drag, and wheel. So right here, Y is about to get open again. And then as you guys see, we also have our running back over the top. Unfortunately there, The linebacker shedded us, but at the same time you have your wheel by your running back, you also have your tight end post as well. And I know it can get a little, you know, close here. I don't have the fastest running back in with Henry, but if you just kind of freeform this down and out, you can still make this completion. And real quick before we wrap it up, I want to show you guys the wheel so we can kind of show you guys everything. I guess the drags too. You do need to see the drags as well. There you go. There's your wheel over the top. And then finally, let's go ahead and show you guys these drags. Okay, same play art. And then like we were saying earlier, once you get the animation, I mean, you're going to come down with this catch, unless they have like short route running man KO, which no one has, so don't worry about that. But gentlemen, that is pretty much, I think, going to be it. I think so. I'll go ahead and look over the rest of our stuff, make sure we covered pretty much everything. Show you guys this drag as well. Just easy completions. So that is it for cover 1. All right, boys, and somehow I forgot to mention like my base play out of cover 3, so I apologize. I'm actually recording this after I was finished editing. It's going to be fork wheel. Now, you can run this on either side. I really use it on both, but for the start of this, I'll go ahead and show it to you guys with the running back on the short side. So again, still, I'm just going to be using the cover 3 butt spy. Now, guys, honestly, what I would typically do for this setup, just because everyone has like deep out KO, I would do our fade and our C route combination. You can kind of put your running back on an in, you can leave him on the out. Obviously, just go ahead and show you guys here the C route first. Super easy, super simple. But also on the right side, you have your wheel as well. Now, if you want, you can kind of just streak your tight end. It's kind of a quick snap cover 3 play, because you can basically snap it and then go ahead and just freeform this down, and you'll have your X receiver open. Obviously, you're going to want to freeform it down because you'll get away from the safety with the mid end or the deep end, and you'll also kind of get like more of a drop down possession animation. As dude, listen, this 3-man rush is just cooking me. I'm having to force the ball so damn quick. Here we go. I'm also like looking through my OBS display, so if I'm a little slow on some of these reads, it's just because it feels a little delayed. Okay, sorry. But that's just this little simple quick snap. If you have this on the short side, it doesn't have to be on the short side, but it is a little easier to hit your wheel. So if you guys just want to leave this kind of as is, if you're not going up against a deep out KO, you can kind of have just a flood on the right side. But this wheel does a great job against cover 3. Like so. And then I've noticed if you run that wheel on the far side, it actually has like touchdown potential, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. With that post route that the X receiver's on, it kind of makes the outside third kind of turn inside, and basically what you have here is a shot to literally just freeform this out and then get a good rack animation, and then, you know, hit the sideline and just go. But obviously if you're doing something like that, you're probably gonna, you know, force more deep out KOs than you'd have to if you just, you know, would possession it. But still, you know, just wanted to let you guys know about that option. But for this play, I mean, you can really do everything. If you want your wheel on the short side of the field, you can then just put a wheel on the other side with your running back and do this setup that I literally always mention. I love these plays. So you just hit your running back right here and then just possession it. I would always recommend possessioning that. You know, so it's cool. It's a very versatile play against cover 3 and cover 4. You can do a lot with it. It makes it really cool. You can even motion this guy in. We talked about this earlier with the bomb. You know, if you guys want to set up like this, you guys can bomb like this. I think I actually have the match on, so it might prevent it. Yeah, it did prevent it. So if that's the case, you know, just hit your comeback. What's nice about knowing that that match thing is there is you can just hit your comeback instead of hitting the bomb. You just want to go ahead and hit your comeback when you see that he is coming back. So just like this. And you'll be good. So pretty versatile play. I like it a lot. I think it's this double stuff, it doesn't really even seem like all the plays are super dominant, but when you're mixing them all in, it really can confuse the opponent, especially because we're doing a lot of shifting or a lot of motioning, and we can attack these zones from various points with our positioning on the field. So yeah, this is kind of like one of my go-to plays. Basically is the base play, in my opinion, for this offense. Really like it a lot. All right, fellas, that is going to be it for this video. I'll probably do another breakdown soon, maybe with with one of the other 2x2 sets, focusing more on the run game that we can audible to. Sorry again for the scuffed audio. I don't know if it sounds good on maybe you guys' phone speakers or computer speakers, whatever you're using. I was just noticing some issues when I was editing with my headset. So if that does go through on your end, I do apologize. I hope I was able to correct enough of it. But nonetheless, everybody, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one. Appreciate all the support, fellas. It's been awesome lately. Thanks for watching. See you boys later. Peace.